All right, Sooner Nation. So we have our first set of good news out of the Champ U barbecue. I don't expect this to be the last set, but Oklahoma gets a commit from the four-star wide receiver, and this is a guy that I think is going to be quietly underrated in this recruiting cycle for Oklahoma, and that's going to be Emmanuel Choice. Listen, he adds to a very talented room for Emmett Jones in Oklahoma. So, what Oklahoma is getting here in Emmanuel Choice is an interesting prospect, something that we got to talk about. Before we do that, though, I need to hear from y'all. So, join the discussion, jump in the comments below. And as always, make sure you guys hit that like, hit the subscribe button so that you guys are able to join and be a part of the community, learn about some more recruiting news as it comes out, because I think we got some more commits on the way for Oklahoma. But Emmanuel Choice, this was one that we were watching going into this weekend. He's a four-star wide receiver out of Lancaster, Texas, and Lancaster High School. And this is a name that we've talked about for a while. Now, the deal is with Emmanuel Choice, he's 6'4", 195 pounds. So one of the things that I've loved about Emmanuel Choice is he's got kind of a long wingspan, and he's got a really great skill set. So he's going to be able to kind of play over some of these corners and maybe even some of the safeties. And that's what you kind of like about Emmanuel Choice. You like that athleticism there. And you saw it in his offer list. He had 27 total collegiate offers. And he had a school list of Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, TCU, A&M, USC, but offers that really stuck out to me with schools that recruit the wide receiver position really well. Obviously, you got to talk about USC. You've got to talk about Tennessee. You have to talk about Texas. You have to talk about Clemson, because Clemson's put out quite a few wide receivers into the NFL over the past 10 years. The Florida Gators, Texas A&M, like those are all schools that have excelled there. And you might be able to count Missouri in there, because Missouri's got Luther Burden, who at one point was one of the best wide receiver prospects coming out of high school. So Emmanuel Choice kind of had his pick of the litter. He could have went kind of anywhere he wanted to go, but dude's a little bit of a track speed. So 4.4940. He's got a 4.4 shuttle. He runs a 10.9 on the 100-meter dash. And as you see when you watch his film, Emmanuel Choice can kind of just blow by those DBs. He can make them pay. And a lot of that's going to be him utilizing that length and that size, which this is kind of a tendency, what we've seen Oklahoma be able to go out there and grab in the post-Lincoln Riley era. You've seen them go out there and get guys like Nick Anderson and Jaden Gibson, or a Zion Kearney, or an Ivan Carrion. They want to be able to be more athletic. They want to have that size advantage on the outside. And going into the SEC, that's important, because you're going to be facing elite defensive backs. Now, the commitment of Emmanuel Choice, it's not going to make you soar up the rankings. It's going to keep you probably in the top 10, but I don't expect it to move you up into the top 5, where those classes in the top 5 at this point, they're pretty elite. When you look at those schools there, you've got number 1, Ohio State, number 2, Notre Dame, number 3, Alabama, number 4, LSU, number 5, Auburn, and Auburn's at 244. Georgia's at number 6, Clemson's at 7, and then you'll find Oklahoma at number 8, at least at the time that we're recording this video. So don't expect Oklahoma to get into the top 5 anytime soon, but this is a really solid pickup for Oklahoma, and Emmanuel Choice is going to continue to climb boards throughout his senior season, and as we get more on tape for him. This is something else I want Oklahoma fans to know. I don't think they're done at the wide receiver position just yet. I really do think if Cortez Mills wants to hop on board, or if a Caleb Cunningham wants to hop on board, they'll take one of 2 of those guys. I don't think they take both, but I think they'll take one of the 2. One is because we've talked about Cortez Mills and the kind of comparison to Odell Beckham Jr. and that type of play style. But then again, Caleb Cunningham being the 5-star dynamic athlete that he is, you don't necessarily want to turn a guy like that away unless you feel really solid about the room. And I only feel like Cortez Mills would kind of be the ending to the room as 100% whole out of those 2 guys. So I want to hear from y'all. Make sure you guys join the discussion. Jump down in the comments below. This was a solid pickup by Oklahoma. Emmanuel choice. We'll have to see who else is to follow because there were a couple commitments at the Champion Barbecue, and Oklahoma is potentially going to have some more good news on the way. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that like and you guys hit that subscribe button.